Hey everybody, I'm Guy, and this is my friend Pepper, and we're doing an artist check-in right now. And this is where we've been, and this is kind of new on my channel, but my channel's kind of up and coming, and I'm trying to get everything rolling on it. So what we're doing here is since the beginning of the year, Pepper and I have been getting together every week to try to check in with one another on our various projects. Pepper has Pepper keeps adding comics to his list.
Yeah.
However, and we'll get to you in a sec on that.
Yeah.
But I'm running a comic right now. I'm building called Bellatrix Rising, and I'm still in the construction phase of it and world building. And so I've been kind of checking in every week. And Pepper is doing. I'll leave that to you.
Yawning, apparently.
No, Pepper didn't sleep much last night. I'm referring to you in the third person here, like
yes.
Right.
Pepper doesn't sleep very well. No,
right.
I am not that. I'm not that person. No, I have my main story, which is Campfire Stories of Lake Kiki Poppy. I'm in the second chapter, first part, because it's in two parts. The coloring process has been solidified. All the colors for the shadows, the lights, and everything have been solidified. So it's now just boiling down to cranking out the pages and making sure, and then going into lettering after that. So,
which is kind of what we're here for, because sometimes when you get into the slog, you kind of need to be, we work for ourselves. So once we get into the slog, you kind of need somebody to hold you accountable, hold your feet to the fire a little.
Yeah. Now, I will say, it's just I know I'm dragging my feet on the coloring process. A lot of people are getting, hey, we're having a hard time promoting you because your stuff's not out yet. So trust me, I'm definitely feeling the pressure, especially with this lovely thing going on right now. But then on top of that, all of a sudden, I got this writing bug. And if anyone knows my channel or knows me well enough, they find out really quickly that I don't describe myself as a writer. So I have The Treehouse Witch, which is a story of a young girl named Winter Savory. She basically is a lunar witch, and I'm just writing the story. I'm doing summaries for each part of the story, and once I get the first 5 summaries done, I'll switch over to writing the script for the comic. However, I got to the 4th summary, and last check-in I was on, I think, summary number 2 I was just starting.
Yes. I'm looking at my notes if you're wondering what that was about.
Yeah, so it's developed so far, and then I decided all of a sudden I had this idea in my head and started doing a short 10-page story about another witch. If you haven't figured out, I enjoy stories of supernatural types. So
interestingly, I had that in my world building. What supernatural people do you have? And I was like, I don't know if I have supernatural. Seems like something that Pepper would do.
Yeah, the supernatural people that I do, it's mainly I do a lot of Celtic witches, Slavic witches, urban legends, magical creatures, stuff like that. But I always manage to mix in humans somehow.
So if they're Slavic, does that mean that they're Russian? And if so, could you just slow them down? I'm just wondering.
No. I am actually heritage-wise, I am Slavic. I am Slavic Polish. My mother and my grandfather
We're witches. Wait, what?
You would think. No, no, my grandfather and my mother have always stated that you are a Slav. You are not anything else. You are a Slav. And I know that.
Well, if you just clean up your room a little bit more, you wouldn't be that way.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Slav with a V. Oh, not a B.
A V,
gotcha.
Yeah. SLAV, not
right.
not with a B as in boy.
Pepper and I go back a long ways, by the way. We've been doing this for a while now.
Yeah.
So the pepper abuse is not as mean as it seems.
Yeah. But no, like the Slavic witches, it's unique because it's not really touch base on an American supernatural like storytelling. If you hear them, you mainly think of Baba Yaga.
Yeah.
Which is the most prominent one. But there's other types, there's other people, there's a lot of different, things that you can pull from. And every part of Slavic, different variations of Slavic culture call them separate differently. Some believe that they do something a little bit different. So in the end of the day, it's called, you have to do your research. My dad's family is predominantly my dad's half French, so it's like right now the short story is involving a French witch. Gesundheit. My husband's in the background.
I'm sneezing. My wife has to sneeze like 16 times first thing in the morning. That's like her thing, and so like I don't know why, but she does. And they're these adorable little like. And it's like people are like, "What's that noise?" And I'm like, "My wife sneezing."
Yeah. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. He's a loud sneezer, so you hear him.
It's not cute or adorable.
Yeah, now he's talking and he's not supposed to.
It's all right. He can do that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Sorry, I'm getting into the weeds and I'm talking because I'm getting like
really we totally got into the weeds. Okay, yeah. So for those of you who are not familiar with what's going on here, these are artist check-ins. So we gave you a little bit of background on those two stories that we've got. I didn't give you much background on Bellatrix Rising, but there is some. Bellatrix Rising is my science fiction epic. I've been working on a comic, did 250 pages, about 300 pages actually, somewhere, of a comic called Tamerlane. And it was a Star Trek fan comic. And I realized that it was getting pretty deep, and I was really rather enjoying it, and the stories were rather unique. And I thought, well, gosh, I can't sell these ever because I can't do anything with them. So I moved all the characters and the concepts and the stories over to my own universe called Bellatrix Rising. And now I'm world building that because I really like the rich world underneath it. I like the rich world of Star Trek. It gives me a good idea. It gives me good ideas for writing stories. So I wanted to put a nice, rich undertone for Star Trek, for Bellatrix Rising, which is where I am now. So what we're going to do here, now that we've given you a little intro and everything like that, from now on, we'll be putting these up on our page, and you can follow us here and find out where we got over the next week or whatever. For last week, I was working on a world building document, and this document is I downloaded a prompt, or I bought actually, because it was like, I think it was $5 or $6. This prompt document that gives you all these prompts for building your world, so that, because before that I was just throwing words together. The problem is that it asks questions that I keep answering in further detail than I mean to, because it's fascinating to me. The document itself asks questions like, in your cultures, what's the core value? Is there a contradiction to that core value? Is there taboo? What's considered taboo? What's shocking in the culture? What happens if someone behaves in a taboo way? What does this culture consider normal and acceptable that outsiders might find strange or unacceptable? That kind of stuff. These are all really deep questions that have added a lot of interesting twists to my story. And we will go into a deep dive on this. Pepper and I will. We do that on our Patreon feeds. So we don't have to clog up this particular post with that. We just, for right now, we're just posting where we are and what our goals are. And then we'll go on ahead and put that on our Patreon feeds, and you can find that at our different Patreons. So I was supposed to finish this world building doc. Guess what?
You didn't.
I didn't. But the reason is because I'm at 13,560 words in this doc, which is 1/4 of a novella at this point in time. But to be fair, the Cimmerillion is 10 times larger than this. So at least I'm not there. And I'm trying to kind of put it in perspective that I'm not at least at the Cimmerillion yet.
Yeah.
All of these questions are so fascinating to me. What's killing me is the rabbit holes, which isn't killing me. These are actually really good. It's adding an amazing amount of depth to the story. But I want another week before I could start characters.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, it's not like much on my end. Like, basically, my goals I coasted through for my goals last week. This week, I did some watercolor paints for the people who have already purchased my set. They get some bonus paints, but they're not like full half pans. They're like, testers, different colors that I may come out later, not right away, but they get access to 3 of them for purchasing them.
are you still having distributor problems?
Uh,
Materials?
I do have one particular site is still down, and unfortunately I need to restock on one of the colors from that site.
Right.
And if anyone has worked with paint before, it is if you're making your own paint is what I mean. Pigmentation powders, or basically stuff that you get for specific colors that you want to make. You want to make sure that you're getting them from the same source every time so that you don't have that much variation in the color. Because pigmentations, a lot of them, like, they have variations within their own strands, even though that iron oxide, which is like, I think the code for that is actually shared with like 6 or 7 variations from like that I've noticed that I've already seen. There's probably more or less, I don't know, but I've seen about 6 different versions.
You'd remember these all, but you're a little rusty, right?
Yeah. So
you said iron oxide. I can't help myself on that one.
Oh, well, I mean, it is rust. It is literally rust. You have one that
Dad jokes abound.
Yep. But anyways, so I worked on the treehouse switch. I successfully got a little bit of headway.
Then got sidetracked.
Then I got sidetracked, but at the same time, it's not that big of a sidetrack. It's like, hey, I'm not really having to draw these things yet.
Right.
So it's like I don't have what you're doing, like for world building. Like my worlds are like very contained. It's like I don't have expansive universes that I have to create with mine.
Most of your universes, you could just pretty much, if you were to fill out this document, you just be like today, today.
Yeah.
What kind of technologies does it have? 2020 technology.
Yeah.
What kind of cars do they drive? Normal cars.
Normal cars.
You'd be answering all these questions in a way that what's taboo? Incest is taboo. I mean, it'd be pretty straight up.
Yeah, like the taboos of my comic are don't mix magic with non-magic things.
Right.
Like if you're gonna go to the human world, just remember, make sure that you play it safe and don't trust very many people. It's that simple. It's like, but they're all tropes that people follow with writing, so it's okay.
Sure. What do you think your goal's going to be for next week?
I'm just coasting.
Coasting. So you want more coloring?
For the watercolor paints, I do need to get a little bit more done, but I'm going to, in the in-depth video, I think I might actually show some of those.
Cool.
Next week.
But you've got on this more coloring. on my last week.
Yeah. So
can you specify coloring? Like, do you want 2 pages colored, 4 pages, 8 pages?
I'm gonna try
100 pages.
3 pages colored.
How many?
3 pages colored. And by colored, I mean I'm not saying just flats. I mean the shadows, the colors,
right, complete.
Flats, everything complete.
Ready to roll out the door.
Yeah. And then
are you going to do anything on Treehouse Witch?
Treehouse Witch, I'm going to finish up the summaries and try to get chapter 1 at least started with writing.
Started. Okay. I'm going to go with, as a goal, world building. I'm going to still go for complete this document. Because that's a good goal. I have no earthly idea if I can. I just realized the entire... last night when I was working on this, I realized that each race or each culture needed its own separate section. So that added way too much to it. So anyway, we'll see how that goes. I'll throw this tab away and put this tab on my monitor so that we can remember that for next week. Okay, guys, that's it for this time. If you have any comments, put them in the area below. If you're interested in hearing about where we are making it to by next week, then go on ahead and put that in there too. You can find the deep dive on this on our Patreon pages, but unfortunately we are putting that behind the paywall. But we both have $1 a month levels, so it's not an expensive paywall, but we've got to figure out somehow to pay for all of Pepper's paints. So there's got to be a way for that. So there you go. My Patreon is patreon.com/GSDavisArt. And Pepper's Patreon is patreon.com/PepperDeluca. So we've got it down here at the bottom, right here at the bottom. See, you can see them right here at the bottom. And then that way you can contact us. And then we'll see you all next week. Thank you.